I'm trying to figure out where to start. I'm going to start. Well, first, I mean, she had my vote when she said she had 6 kids. I mean, and also the courage it takes to run and not have all the answers and stand before people and say, I don't have all the answers, but I'll figure it out. And I would just call it this because I feel the same way. You got to answer the call. You got to move forward, and you're going to draw fire, and then you're going to win. And Godspeed, right? So that's what she's doing. That's what I like to do. And I think a lot of people are doing that right now because we can't just sit idly by and watch our country go just straight off a cliff right into the tank. And that's what's happening right now. We all see it, and we just can't sit idly by and just watch it happen. So I figured I was at a meeting earlier today, and we were talking about traffic. It was in Manatee County. I tried to tie something in to what I'm going to talk about. And so they were talking about traffic, and we can't have left turns. And I was like, left turn, that's good. We need to get rid of left turn Vern. It's time for career politicians to retire.
Amen. Turn limits.
Yeah. Wow.
That's a great crowd. I love this. So I was thinking about education. So I figured I'd start and share with you guys my experience in education and also try to tie in kind of the constitutional instincts that I have and have had just from the beginning. So when I started a school called Inspiration Academy in West Bradenton. It's a 6th through 12th grade school. We also have post-grad. And by God's grace, we've been doing fantastic. And as soon as we started, we got 5 accreditations, and we walked in faith. We didn't know what we were doing, but we're stepping out and trusting that we'll figure it out along the way. And if God's given us good instincts, we're going to take those good instincts, and we're going to try to serve other people with them. That's what we've done. But one of the first things that happened was you talk to a consultant, they say, well, you need to be a charter school. And so didn't know much about what's going on because my background is actually technology and software. So all of a sudden, starting a school is a brand new thing for me. Again, it's a walk of faith. Answer the call. Move forward. Draw fire. And so what happened was just basically said, well, what does this mean if you're a charter school? And it says, well, you get a lot of money from the state. And not a lot of money from the federal government, by the way. The DOE needs to go away, and I will be committed to getting rid of it. Love you guys. You're awesome. So the answer was that you're going to get state money. And I'm like, well, that's great. There's got to be a catch. What's the catch? And they're like, there's no catch. I'm like, no. So it's instincts. You got to understand, if someone's going to offer you something for free, there's something attached with it.
Yeah.
It's people giving you a free needle. The federal government wants to give a free needle all the time. Here, try this, do this, try this. And it's happening with affordable housing right now. Be careful of those words. Free transportation. I just came from another meeting earlier. We're like, no, we'll just give it for free. Wait, what are we doing? Why? Why is this happening? And there's a complicated obfuscation of all the tax and numbers and try to justify these things. But our spidey senses should be going off on some of these things, right? That there's no free lunch and that we shouldn't trust the government. The government is the source of the problems, not the answer to the problems. So anyway, with charters, with being a charter school or private school, basically narrowed it down, said, well, can I talk about Jesus? And they're like, well, anything but that. So if you're a charter school, it used to be this way. Now with HB1, things have changed. But at the time, if you wanted to be a Christian school and if you wanted to speak boldly and not be under the mandate of the state, then you need to be a private school, and that's going to cost you money to do so. Well, the decision was simple. Do you want freedom, or do you want to be taken care of? And the decision we made was, we want freedom. And so it's that decision and instincts like that have led me, and I'll share some of those instincts with you as I go through and try to give you a brief little history of me, if you will, because you need to know who I am. You need to know the character of the person. By the way, going back to Bill Clinton, do you guys remember with Bill Clinton? And something changed in this country. The entire media all pushed this narrative that character doesn't matter anymore. Do you remember that?
No.
That was a big deal. It didn't seem like much. It's like, well, it's just they're justifying things. And no, that was a big deal. Character matters. Integrity matters. And because you're not going to be able to trust me or anybody else if they don't have the character. You got to measure people, the Bible says, by their fruits. So I encourage everybody. I want to take all the questions, and because the truth will stand up to scrutiny. Okay? And by the way, I heard earlier that what's lacking here from a congressional representation standpoint is just somebody who will answer the call. I will give you my cell phone. I have put my cell phone on the website. Call me at any time. I will answer. Now, hopefully things get so busy that I'll have to get back to you. But so far, it's been pretty good. And if you call in the next 5 days, I'll have to get back to you because I'm going to the border. I'm bouncing all over the place here. But I'm going to the border for a 3-state tour for the next 5 days to see what's happening with human trafficking, the invasion.
Yeah.
It's a staging area for an invasion. I'm just going to bounce around. I'm bouncing all over the place here. But look what happened with Black Lives Matter. If you pay attention to that, there was mostly peaceful riots. Oh, come on.
Yeah.
This wasn't mostly peaceful riots. These were agitators who are trying to create agitation, and it's a Marxist mindset to create division to weaken all of us. It goes to CRT, it goes to DEI also. But they ran out because of the beautiful people in this country. And we need to know this. We need to know that there's hope. I want everybody to walk out of here saying, no, this is our country, and we the people will take it back. We need to have that hope. And if you just look at what happened with Black Lives Matter and those protests, they fizzled out because people wised up. A lot of people in the black community said, no, this isn't who's Antifa? What are they doing? No, thank you. People wised up. It's a good country with good people. And as they send people over here and try to get agitation, then they're like, agitate people into creating war and creating strife, the next thing you know, a lot of these people are like, no, this is a good country. I like it here. Right? So, now what do? Now they've got to go import people and bring them across the border. You understand that that's what's happening. More and more agitation on a mass scale, and it's an invasion that's happening right now. So what I want to do is, over the next 5 days, I probably won't answer my phone, just so you know. Over the next 5 days, I'm going to be getting and taking a video crew to try to come back and share with you the things that I found, okay? Because, again, it's we the people, and I want all of you guys to catch fire and do what you can, support me, support others. And you guys are already doing that, preaching to the choir. But not just preaching to the choir, take the next step, whatever that next step is. We've got to fight to get our country back. And it takes all of us. It takes we the people. It's not just a tagline. It's not just something I put on the business card. It is the power of this country. And it is a powerful country. And we will stand against China and any other country because we the people can think for ourselves and can do what it takes, and we'll fight back and again take our country back. Anyway, I get excited. So going back to my history, I shared this before. I was 6 years old when I had my first encounter with the government. I talked to my grandmother. She was giving me money for not allowance for chores. Okay? It wasn't no free money. I had to do some chores. She grew up in Oklahoma in the Great Depression, so she taught me a lot of frugality. So she said, what you need to do is go buy a wallet. So, and forgive me if I get these numbers wrong, but I go up to the drugstore. It's when everything was at a drugstore. Go up to the drugstore and I find a wallet and it says $5.48. I'm like, great. I'm gonna go save up. Okay. 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, it seemed like 10 years when you're that young, right? But 3 weeks later, I come back and I got $5.48, and I pay for it. And she goes, "No, it's $6 or $6.12." I go, "What? What are you talking about? No, it's $5.48 right there." Well, there's this thing called tax, honey. And I cried. So that was my first experience with the government. I cried. The taxes are just too much. You know what do I get for it? I'm still crying. That's right. I'm still crying over the taxes that we have to pay. And I don't mind paying taxes as long as they're used in the right way.
Yes.
Right. So after that, I went to high school, went to college. I was a rowdy, out of control person until God got a hold of me in college. And
Amen.
if you know Jesus, it's hard not to talk about it. So my life was changed. I gave my life over to Jesus, and my friends didn't even recognize me anymore because of all the crazy things. You know, I can understand the mind of a criminal because I was one. I was stealing, I was fighting, I was doing drugs. I'm well acquainted with all that this world has to offer and found it all incredibly empty. What does that mean as far as a candidate goes? I don't know. It's just part of me, I guess. Right? So then I started a business, finished college, started a business, and was incredibly successful by God's grace, and won Inc. 500's fastest growing company, won Inc. 500, one of the 500, but won it for 4 years, which only 100 companies had ever done before at that time. So incredible, astonishing growth. Now, why do I share that with you? Because A, I've got a technology background, and B, I've got managing people and managing growth and managing a dynamic environment. I've got that experience as well. Then I started a software company, and the software company was very interesting. Learned a lot about the mortgage industry because we became the standard for loan origination systems for the mortgage industry. So interesting little story about Mortgage Cadence, the software company that I started. Is that we were selling to like Wachovia, Countrywide. These companies aren't around anymore, by the way. And interesting because they would tell us, because again, we were privately financed. We didn't go get everybody else's money like everybody else did at the time. You know, go get private equity. We're like, no, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. What we need to do is provide value, partner with customers, and stay close to the customers, stay close to the value. So I've always had this mindset of being as close to the people that you're serving as possible. It's important because people get disconnected from it, and then they start creating solutions that nobody needs, right? But what we did was had software for these industries, and our software was more robust. It was, I'm just bragging a little bit here, but it was fantastic software. It was more robust, it provided more flexibility and versatility than any other software. And around 2005, 2006, we were in big deals, Deutsche Bank and, like I said, Wachovia, and we won these deals. Like, it takes about a year to go through the entire sales process. We spent $500,000 just in the sales process. We won the deal. The deal is going to be worth well over $50 million for the software alone. And then we find out that these companies, Wachovia specifically, said, no thank you. I'm like, what? Why? Now think about this. Why would they not want software that was incredibly versatile and had business intelligence to understand the nature of the loans and the pools of loans? You see what I'm saying? You see where I'm going here? I didn't know it at the time. I knew that there was a lot of problems with all these mortgages. But then, now, all of a sudden you're seeing how people respond and how they just kind of quietly walk away and say, good software, good job, thanks. We don't want to, what? We just won. You laid everything out, we won. But we all know what happened after that. These pools of mortgages were junk. They were just junk, and they didn't want to know. And that's what happens with government. As long as somebody's getting their money, they don't want to know of the damage that it's causing. And so as a candidate, I want to put it in their face. Damage is being caused. What are you going to do about it? To my colleagues, I'm probably not going to be very popular in D.C. But we can, how many of you guys did see Vern Did you guys all see that?
Yes.
If you guys didn't know, Vern, in the middle of the speaker race for Jim Jordan, who is a conservative, would have been fantastic. He said we shouldn't get Jim Jordan. He voted against Jim Jordan, and he went bowling in the Biden White House at the invitation of the White
While his
House.
phone was melting down.
While his phone was melting down. He has his friends. He's made his choice. You are my friends. And I sound like a politician when I say that. That's my first time wrote it. It sounds cheesy to say that, but it's true. I want to be connected to people, to where the real issues are. This is what counts. This is what matters. And we need other people to see this as well. And that's why I want to go to the border, and I want to show people that, hey, we can't ignore this any longer. We cannot ignore this any longer. So let me take a step back. I sold that business by God's grace. It was worth a ridiculous amount of money that I didn't want. What? We got a lot of time, right? Go for it. All right. Matthew 6:24. In every conference room of all the businesses that I had, we named the main conference room 624. You can not serve two masters.
Yep.
You'll either love the one or love the other, but you can't love them both. You're going to end up loving this one and hating this one, or hating this one and loving this one. I've seen it too many times. People fall in love with money, it changes them, and they become a servant to it. If you have a fire in your heart for freedom and not serving, and not becoming a servant of anything else, you'll recognize that I hate mammon. I hate it. Now, how am I going to win a congressional race against the fourth richest congressperson in D.C.? Same way we won in the technology business, same way that we won in Inspiration Academy, and we did it without taking state money. Same way we turned New College of Florida from the 10th most liberal university in the nation to now moving towards a classical education and making that conservative. I just kind of did a little foreshadowing there. We're going to talk about that. Okay? But it can be done. We got to... If you have faith, and you don't even have to have faith in God. If you have faith that our founding fathers were brilliant and they knew what they were doing when they created the Constitution, when they said it's we the people, a government of the people, by the people, and for the people, then we can do this. And we will do this. Catch fire with me. We will do this. It will take place. The question is, which side are you going to be on? Are you going to be like, hey, I was with Karen. I was with Eddie. You guys know, right? This is the message that you share to everybody else that you know, okay? Because you guys are great. So we can do this. Started Inspiration Academy, and by God's grace, we've won in a short amount of time. Like I said, we had 5 accreditations just right off the bat. We had more commendations from our accrediting body than they had given in the last 12 years. Because of our award-winning mentorship program, but it's a lot of unique things that we do, very unique things that we do that really drive. Well, I'll give you an example. Her hands are tied at I'm not even going to call them public schools, at government schools. They're government schools, and she can't handle. They can't handle because they are falling prey to federal guidelines, to state guidelines. And a lot of that is changing here in this state, and it's fantastic. So I'm excited about HB1. I don't want to get caught up too much in that, but I want to share with you guys a little bit about the innovation that I bring just to education. So what we do, I'm sorry for laughing, but we do this. A lot of times the problem is the parents. And you got to hold the parents accountable. So if you forgive the acronym, we have parent in school suspension. Follow me there? No, it's not just to belittle parents, but understand what we do. We're trying to communicate with parents what's going on in the classroom. They're like, no, it can't be, it can't be. We're like, you need to come and sit with your student all day long. So the parent has to sit in the class all day long with the student. Next thing you know, boy, those kids shape up quick. They do. So there's different things like that that we do. There's a lot of unique things that we do that I would bring that kind of problem-solving, entrepreneurial mindset to Congress, and it is needed in Congress.
Yes.
My goodness, I mean, I'm looking at the time here. I drive a 2001 Suburban, and I've driven it for a long time, for some 11 years. I love that car. I don't need it to change. I don't need to get a new car or anything like that, even if my wife wants me to. But I go in to get it changed. So just follow this story for a second here. I go in to get it changed, to get it fixed, because the air conditioning and the heating, manufacturing, the duct work is bad. I go in to get it replaced, and they said, we don't make this anymore. How many of you guys, is this just me that's like,
No.
what do you mean? You don't make this anymore? Okay, let me get it aftermarket. No, there's no aftermarket for this. Why is there no aftermarket for this? There's something wrong there. There's plenty of money. They're like, no, your car's totaled. No, it's not. It's fine. I just don't have air conditioning. There's something, there is just something, there's crony capitalism at work with Congress that have made laws that are protecting these auto manufacturers, and it becomes monopolistic. And next thing you know, I'm guessing, and I don't even know this, somebody could research this later and say, oh, he was way off on that. Could be, I don't know. But I'm telling you the way I think in an innovative way that there's something that's blocking third-party manufacturers from making that part. And you can just smell it. There's corruption there somewhere. Let's go find it. Ask John. We're sniffing some stuff out, right? And we're going to sniff more and more stuff out. So anyway, back to the story. So that's just some of the innovation that I would bring to Congress. Then DeSantis asked me to be a trustee at New College of Florida in January this year. January 6th, by the way. 2 years after, exactly 2 years after, I was up at the Capitol. Do you guys know, by the way, so I was up at the Capitol on January 6th, and now I just heard from Gateway Pundit, I'm bouncing all over the place here, but I just heard from Gateway Pundit that they are going after people that weren't even in the Capitol anymore. You guys know that?
Yeah.
There's
people in jail.
Yeah, absolutely. Capitol Police it's so wrong, and what we need, there's so many things that we need to do here. But I have no problem saying that. Go ahead, throw me in jail. I would. There's nothing that I would love more than being a martyr and persecuted, so that you guys reveal yourselves for the political tyrants that you are. So is that dumb of me?
No.
Not at all.
It's all that I can do. I can't stand bullies. And that's what this is. These are just political bullies. And they're, at the end of the day, they're cowards, really. They're hiding behind all this stuff. They're cowards. So, anyway, January 6th, Governor DeSantis asked me to be a trustee of New College of Florida. Sarasota Herald Tribune, Tampa Bay Times, they all started coming after me and looking at Twitter, and they said at social media, and I wasn't active on social media at the time, very much. I mean, like 3 a year, 3 posts a year. Yay, go Bucks. Yeah, right? Not too much, but I had said some things about the fear-mongering of global climate change. And I had said some things about the COVID vaccines. That, hey, I think we need to be looking at this a little bit more closely. I don't trust what we're being told. So they came after me just immediately. And then one of the first things that I said is we need to start the trustee meeting with prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. And so I post that out there. And then next thing you know, I received a death threat from that. It's like, that's crazy. Why would they do that? So Chris Rufo and I had a town hall meeting there, and the night before I received that death threat. Now, when I received that death threat, it's like, okay, I got to have this meeting, but now I got to go tell my wife. Oh. And just so you know, because it's important, it's going to be a family, not a family of 8, but a family of 5, right? and most of them are gone, so it's just a family of 2 right now. But anyway, what she told me at that time is, you're going to go to that meeting, right? I'm like, what? Let's go! Yes! And chomping at the bit to get in this fight for a long time. And now she's behind me, and she knows what I'm risking. Please understand also that there's a lot of foresight that God has given me. So once Obamacare happened, socialized medicine, I was a part of the Tea Party. I went and had a glass of wine with Andrew Breitbart, and that was a great moment. I loved Andrew Breitbart. He lived courageously so that other people could live freely. And when he put out there that Podesta was a pedophile, a sick pedophile, I told my wife, I said, he's going to die.
He did.
He did. He died of natural causes. And
Right.
I don't trust that. I seriously don't trust it.
No.
So, our founding fathers sacrificed their fortune, their sacred honor, and their lives. How can we do anything less? How can we do anything less? In the face of the evil of pedophiles and human trafficking, this nation woke up with the sound of freedom. Thank you, Lord. There's more red pills that we need to take.
Yes.
There's a few more. But we can handle that. The book Good to Great says we need to confront the brutal facts and yet never lose hope that we're going to be victorious in the end. And we will. We will win. But we've got to confront the brutal facts. And the brutal facts is evil is prevalent at a heightened level right now. And we need courageous warriors who are going to go out and speak the truth and have revolutionary courage to deal with the consequences. So, you know what they're doing with, they're trying to get everybody to be afraid with the January 6th.
Oh, yeah.
Be afraid. I don't cuss, but I'm close right now. We gotta fight. We gotta fight. And
Metaphorically.
yes.
Yeah, peacefully.
Thank you.
Peacefully fight.
There's a long train of abuses. When in January 6th we air our grievances, and our grievances are met with political persecution, that's just one more train that's added to the long train of abuses. You guys know what I'm quoting here, right? It's incumbent upon us to throw off such a government.
Yes. That's right. Yes.
We need to throw off those in power that are abusing all of us, and we the people. So, anyway, back to New College of Florida. So, at New College of Florida, what ends up happening is conservatives and Republicans will step into positions, and then they'll just kind of wait, because everybody's afraid to stir something up. Oh, I might be wrong. I get that. It's hard for me to hit the send button on a nasty social media message, such as at New College of Florida, trans is a mental disorder. Wait, bring it back. At New College of Florida, trans is a mental disorder. That's what I did. Now I'm going to share with you another side of that specific story. It's not just about the fight. Because after I sent that message, and remember, we had like SWAT teams at that town hall meeting with Chris Rufo and I, and we weren't supposed to go on campus because it was such a heated time. And then I'm thinking to myself, wait a second, Jesus didn't walk around with Centurion guards, did he? So I'm like, oh man, I gotta go on campus, go right in the heart of campus and face the wrath. Felt like that's what God was asking me to do. So I did. Without any escort or anything. I found if you're familiar with the Bible, I found a man of peace to walk with me. His job was to videotape me getting hit and spit on, because that's what I fully expected to happen. Instead, I just got yelled at for a while. And then I was calm, and I developed a discussion with these students, with these trans students. And they said, well, you're surprisingly calm right now, so I'll try to be calm too. I'm like, thank you. And what I said to them is, look, I believe, you might not agree, but I believe that you're made in the image of God and you have infinite value. And so I'm going to treat you with infinite value because that's what you have in my eyes. I developed a friendship with many of them because that's what the uniparty doesn't want. The uniparty doesn't want us to have dialogue and have discussion. If you realize what's really happening, it's psyops, it's a psyop war against us to divide us.
Yes.
And if we end up coming together and having a discussion and we learn how to disagree on things, we don't have to agree on everything. Trust me, John does not agree with everything that I stand for. He'll tell you. John Balance, all right over here.
No way.
No way. It's crazy, right? So, a couple other things that we did at New College. People don't step into the position of authority and walk with the mandate of the oath that I took at New College of Florida to the Constitution and to the taxpayers. That's who I'm serving. And so with that oath, I decided that, hey, I got to say that this president needs to go. And that president went. I was the first one to call for that. I was the first one to say that the lawyer needs to be fired because the lawyer immediately said, no, you can't have prayer here. I'm like, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm not a lawyer, but you don't have to be a lawyer. Just do a little research and understand the law, right? So he was wrong. He was fired. At the first meeting, we got rid of the chair also. And then we got rid of DEI. Now, I'd love to say that I was the one that was the first one to call for that, but that was Chris Rufo's deal. He's fantastic. You guys, how many people know about Chris Rufo? Oh my goodness, I did not know much about him. And we sat down to do the town hall meeting, and then he started talking. I'm like, oh, this guy's awesome. He is brilliant. And so anyway, that was a big part of his push, was getting rid of DEI. So we were the first university in the nation to get rid of DEI. Isn't that amazing? At the most liberal university in Florida, in the top 10 most liberal universities in the nation. We can do it.
Yes.
We can recapture these institutions.
Yes.
These institutions, these three-letter acronyms, most of them need to go, DOE,
Yeah.
FBI, we can push that right underneath the U.S. Marshals.
Yep.
It's not serving.
Exactly.
We can cut by 85% the federal bureaucracies. Twitter did it.
Yeah.
Right? There's so many people out there that just are not doing their job.
I'd have to sleep on the floor.
Oh.
You might have to sleep on the floor of Congress, but you can get it done.
So, a couple other things that happened there. I was the first one to call for gender studies to be removed, and that's a big deal because gender studies is where all this trans and this intersectionality happens in the classrooms. So now all of a sudden she's trying to work with teachers who have been indoctrinated from all these universities with this mindset, and they walk in and say, oh, well, you can't say that, you got to accept the pronouns. No, we are not going to normalize dysfunction.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
We're
Those are
not.
required courses for graduation.
They won't be soon in New College of Florida. They won't be. And we can set the blueprint for the rest of the nation to watch. So, that's underway. And by the way, I was not confirmed, again, I'm looking at the time, I was not confirmed as a trustee. Doing all kinds of amazing things. By the way, before I'm done bragging about the resume at New College of Florida, I'll tell you that I was instrumental in bringing the athletics to New College of Florida. Our baseball coach is now the athletic director at New College of Florida. I was helping him because we had planned on creating our own college, and then God had a different plan. And so we moved into New College of Florida and pushed all our resources so that the whole world could see what could happen if you change a culture. You can change a culture through all the things that I'm talking about. Basically, you just stand up and say, no. Well, like she's talking about, no, this isn't right. This isn't right. We're going to do it this way. And then you let everybody scream and yell all they want. You stand calmly behind the truth. We don't have to move. We should not be moved. There's nothing to hide. So we started an athletic program there, and everybody was saying there's going to be a huge brain drain. Nobody's going to want to go to school. We broke the records of enrollment records in this fall. Right away, we broke the records, largely because of athletics. Because lo and behold, people don't want to be indoctrinated with this woke ideology. And so we've had an amazing success, and we're moving in a great direction at New College of Florida. But I wasn't confirmed there. Now, why wasn't I confirmed? I talked to Jim Boyd. Who's the senator here? You guys know? The state senator. I'm not sure. It's probably different at different places. Do you know?
It's not Danny.
Burgess? I talked to Danny Burgess, too. Okay.
Danny Alvarez.
Oh, okay.
And Mike Beltran. No, that's right.
No, Mike Beltran's at house also. Regardless, I asked my senator, and I also asked the person who was running the committee that I came to speak to. So I got to take a step back. The Democrats up in Tallahassee asked me to come speak, and for the hearing, for a confirmation hearing. I was told by quote unquote handlers, don't go. We can just simply ignore the Democrats because we've got a supermajority. Makes sense. I agree, but I don't agree. We need to stand behind the decisions we're making. So I was the only trustee that actually went. And they're like, oh, don't do that. No, we need to stand behind the decisions that we're making. And so I did, and they asked a couple questions. One of the questions they asked is, you talk about truth. Interesting. You talk about truth. So what is your truth? And I got the honor to say that Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. As articulated by the... Jim Boyd, okay. Has articulated in the Bible. Now, we can have disagreements there. I'm not advocating a theocracy, but I'm not hiding what my beliefs are. It's separation of church and state. We have the free exercise thereof. So I shouldn't have to hide what I believe. So you ask me what my truth is, I'm going to tell you. It's Jesus Christ. Next question. Well, apparently, the word was that ruffled some feathers.
Of course.
It shouldn't ruffle enough feathers to overcome a supermajority.
Got that
Right?
Got that right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what ended up happening is they just left me off the list. It was just very quiet, hush, hush. Nobody talked about it.
No.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Go ahead.
Because they knew they couldn't control it.
They knew they couldn't
Yeah.
control me, exactly. Not only that, there's so much, I'm speculating here, okay? So this is all speculation. But Joe Gruters pushed for trans to be a protected class in 2019. Did you guys know that? Like I'm gonna red pill you guys quite a bit over the next few months here, okay? There's gonna be quite a few red pills. This is one of them. He pushed for trans to be a protected class. Now I come along and said trans is a mental disorder. And gender studies has got to go. And I'm not shy about it. Well, okay.
You're real popular with him, huh?
Not popular at all. Not popular at all. So they left me off the list and hoped that I would go away. I'm not going away. I'm not going away. No, this is we got to fight. I can't stand back again and watch our country go down the drain while people are making money and profiting off of the deception and pretending to be conservatives when they're not. No, we can't do that. So anyway, then I decided to run for Congress. And I decided to go against the guy who won by a Florida political record last year, last cycle. He has, it's the record, the largest victory he had last year.
Vern?
Vern had
That's
the largest
before he
victory.
went
You know why? Because Trump endorsed him.
Yeah.
Well, and because his candidate, the other Republican, was
Bowling night?
Oh.
That was before we went bowling with the
Trust me, I
Democrats.
didn't want to vote for him because they were a Democrat.
I'm not blaming you guys. I'm not blaming you guys.
Yeah, we did have an option.
But what I'm saying is that God loves impossible situations like this.
Yeah, it's gonna be uphill.
It's going to be uphill, but David and Goliath. I love what you said, Ken. It's fantastic.
Eddie, you're going to leave some time for questions?
Yes, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, just a question.
Yes.
Of the congressional freshmen for the 118th Congress, who do you believe you would align with most? Eli Crane, Lauren Boebert, Anna Paulina Luna, Laurel Lee, Byron Donalds.
Anna Paulina Luna.
And then I got another question. Now, we did this, remember back in '22, prior to that election, we had a list of questions that we conduct some candidate meet and greets.
Yeah.
And the first question was, will you publicly state you believe the 11/3/2020 presidential election was fraudulent?
Well, I think my presence on January 6th clearly demonstrates that, yeah. And not only that, at our school, by the way, Ryland Kaczynski is a teacher. Ryland is a teacher there, and what I would do is on devotions with all these kids, I would share a video in Georgia of them hiding suitcases and pulling them out. Because we all saw it. Like, what? So I shared that with all the students because what we need is, it's not just us, we need everybody, the next generation, to understand what's happening and get them engaged in the process. And so yes.
Okay, and then the second question has 3 parts, if y'all recall.
Can I
Yes.
pause and go back to Anna Paulina Luna?
Yes.
What she did was fantastic because she went with power, as social media power, but it's a new kind of power. She censured Adam Schiff. It didn't work because it was bad legislation, honestly. Massey said, no, I can't sign on to that. She had the strength, the power, to go back and say, I'll switch it, and let's vote again. And they did, and they censored Schiff. That's a freshman doing that. And that's the new norm.
Yep.
That's the new norm. When I beat Vern Buchanan, that will be such a huge upset that it will be clear what the mandate is. I will walk into Congress with a similar level of pull and sway.
Beautiful. Okay, second question. Will you lead an effort to lobby the state legislators to pass the required legislation as soon as possible to A, outlaw the use of electronic ballot tabulation machines, B, return to paper ballots that
Yes.
are hand counted before the ballots are boxed and leave the polling places, and C, greatly limit the use of mail-in ballots to only those voters who have had their identities verified and have a compelling reason for not voting in person, such as for military service members or those with verified health disabilities, making in-person voting very difficult or impossible. Question. Okay. Those were our vetting questions.
You guys know what I'm talking about? Speaking of that, real quick, we're going to take down a rhino.
Oh,
So remember the name, Speir.
That's awesome.
Is that it? The question?
That's it. Thank you.
Great
That's
questions. I love these questions. Yeah.
I was gonna come right out and ask you two right off the bat. Who would you vote for in the presidential general, and also who would you have put in the primary, and who would you have put in for speaker had you been up there?
I'm going to avoid one and answer the other. Okay?
Can you tell me why you're gonna avoid the one?
Yeah, because presidential. Why am I going to avoid the presidential, saying who I would support? Is because what we need is people who don't have this kind of tribalistic mentality. We need to understand that endorsements only go so far. Trump has not endorsed winners all the way through. Okay, you know, we understand why he's doing those things. Okay, so there's reason for it, but we can't just simply go along with this endorsement kind of mindset. Doesn't mean I'm not going to try to get some endorsements, General Flynn specifically, and others. We'll try, but we're not going to be beholden to those things. And honestly, if I said I endorse one or the other, is it going to sway you? Probably not. Not yet. Not yet. So I'm not going to answer that one. I'll throw all kinds of different things out there, and you can guess and speculate. But there's amazing things that Trump did, and there's amazing things that DeSantis did. There's things that weren't so good with Trump. There's things that weren't so good with DeSantis. We'll leave it at that.
You have more than one in there right now.
What's that?
They might not be viable, but you got a few more up there right now that are still up there. You could have said someone.
Do some research on Vivek. At first, I was like, oh my goodness, he's got amazing things to say. I love hearing him. I just don't love researching him.
Yeah.
You're not hard to read, no?
No.
Right?
Don't put your head in the sand.
Jim Jordan, by the way. Jim Jordan, clearly. And not only that, I want to share with you guys that it's instincts. It's freedom-loving, constitutional instincts that allow me to, before Gates did anything, when he was up there, before it worked out the way it worked out, I said, he's doing the right thing. Gates is doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't understand why, and you're like, oh, I don't like all this commotion, understand commotion is Republicans need to purify the message. We need to get rid of Republicans that are in Republican in name only, and we need to have accountability. We cannot continue this cycle of continuing resolution to omnibus bill that just completely allows every congressperson to go back to their district and throw up their hands and say, well, it's really tough. I couldn't do it. They're avoiding accountability. They know they're doing that, and they're continuing to do that as they spin us into oblivion. Speaking of spinning us into oblivion, Vern Buchanan spent $5.5 trillion of your dollars, and I want to put that into numbers for you. That's $50,000 of your money, every household, $33,000 per taxpayer. Now, how did you pay for that? Because he's not going to vote for taxes. Well, what ends up happening is the inflation. It's the hidden tax. We're all getting crushed by inflation. And that, by the way, here's one more red pill for you guys, okay? One more red pill is that he blocked Trump from exiting the Paris Climate Agreement. So the Paris Climate Agreement is just a boondoggle for nations, and it would have cost every household an additional $30,000. So what he wanted is to spend $80,000 of your money. Now, is that all in 1 year? No, that's over a period of 10 to 15 years. So it doesn't even matter. It's ridiculous, and we don't need it. And that's how he makes friends, and then he comes back and brings the smallest little fraction of that back to the district, and thumbs up, great job. You know, no, it's not a great job. Now he's going to have Mike Johnson come and speak at Longboat Key to support him. Well, that's how political machinations work. He ends up saying, okay, I can see that it's not going to work, but will you help me get reelected? We need to look past that and say, no, you've already shown your true colors. You know, it's too late to try to cover your tracks now. So anyway, was there something else there? What's that? He's bringing Mike Johnson on November, whatever it is, 27th, I think, to speak.
So you said you wouldn't answer question number one. Can you answer this? Will you vote for whoever is chosen in the primary?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Look, I like what Kennedy's doing as he's pushing away from the different. I love that, but you got to look at the rest of what he stands for. He's a communist that's good on one issue.
I think that the American people are so desperate though for a hero.
Yes.
We're in a very bad situation.
Yeah. So clearly, and I honestly look. What we have right now is a great choice, despite the boots and everything. Despite those things. We've got this. We had Mitt Romney and McCain before, right? What in the world? Those are Vern Buchanan. Did you know that he started with Romney? Romney was down here. They're good friends, and so that's the kind of Republican that we've had.
So
we've got a good choice this year.
I get kind of chastised on occasion because when I sit in rooms like this and I hear questions like that, I don't believe them. And the reason I don't believe them, if you watch what DeSantis is doing, he is on that Fox channel. Fox is pushing for us to go to war.
Yeah.
DeSantis is pushing for us to go to war.
Murdoch
If
machine.
it comes down to Kennedy or DeSantis, I'm pretty confident Kennedy won't go to war for the right reasons. He might have other problems, but DeSantis is gonna get us into war. And if we understand the war power of that, when you don't meet your criteria for bringing kids into the military, they're going to institute a draft. And every one of the people, grandparents and or kids, are gonna see their kids get drafted. So then when it comes down to DeSantis or Kennedy, I'll just use as my example, because Biden is, I'd have to go with DeSantis, the worst of two evils, but I'm telling you what, DeSantis is on the wrong side of the equation on this one.
Yep.
And until people understand that, that's a big problem.
Yeah, we're done with neocons, so I think that's,
Yeah.
that's clear.
It's not gonna be the same, it's gonna be
Yes.
Trump.
So, what you did with school, was awesome.
Thank you.
What would you say for the other schools, like what's coming out of Cornell,
Oh,
just other schools?
UC,
Name any town in California.
Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
what,
Well-
Pell Grants or?
First get rid of DOE.
Yeah.
I mean,
gotta stop talking about it.
that's huge. And by the way, HB1 here in Florida is huge. It
Can you
hasn't.
explain what that is, please?
HB1 is vouchers, basically. Vouchers. So now it's free markets introduced into the educational system.
The money's.
And now the government schools should over time dry up. It's not going to be like immediate, but they'll dry up. And now, wow, this school over here, Inspiration Academy, I really like this. Or this classical academy over here, I really like this school. Now parents can choose where they want to go. It's free market competition. It's what has made America great, and it should apply to education. And what you said so many great things. That government that governs the most closely, that's closest to the decision making is the best government. DOE needs to just simply go away. NIH needs to go away. NIH has a huge impact on education because all the grants that are buying scientific consensus, that is no such thing as scientific consensus. They're just buying it and intimidating everybody else out of it at the university levels, so that they've captured universities at that level. It's all coming from the NIH. So it's all coming from Fauci.
Yeah, right.
You know, so it's a huge problem. So these bureaucracies we need to have zero-based budgeting. What are you doing for the American people? Let's start from there, not start from an omnibus. Yeah.
Two questions. One, the first one is how can we stop China and buying property in the United States? That's they're buying property, they're buying colleges too. That's my both questions. There's people buying in Europe, right? The Muslim population that are spending money in our colleges in Jordan, not Jordan. So those countries over in the Middle East are sending money here to go back to get our colleges. That's what we do all the riots right now.
Yeah.
And the first thing is, the biggest thing is China is buying everything. And really, every war that we've been in up to World War II and after, we were able to manufacture our own stuff. We don't have manufacturing jobs.
No, but we've got ingenuity, and so I don't. As I hear these things, I don't want people, because it's true. We've got to accept the brutal facts and then never lose hope. What we have here that other countries don't have is we've grown up in freedom, and we know how to think for ourselves. We cannot underestimate that manufacturing can come back. We just need some leadership in Washington that will call out Bill Gates, who's trying to buy land in Hillsborough County, and he's also supporting Vern Buchanan. Okay, a little side note there, just another red pill, right? So it's China for sure, but DeSantis is doing a great job as far as the legislation. Texas is doing a good job at pushing and saying, no, you cannot be, this is a national security threat, but until we get it at a federal level, state level is doing a good job. And as far as education, the H-1B needs to go to the university level also. You know, we can't just have government schools at the university level as well. You can take all those funds, and then we need to fund students and not systems.
Just to help you out in your campaign, you just said both of you, the old system is follow the money.
Yeah.
The old system. We have to take, people, I found out people, because I ran for office in a little community and they had a fight with you. I mean, I thought that little community back home was like 2,000 people. And one family ran the whole city for years. And it took me a long time to fight against them. Every time I ran for, like, even for mayor, it was just, they would count the votes every other time by 8 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, the votes would fall, and I would lose like 20 votes.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is, if you tell them to follow the money, and you have to really show them where the money's going. People do not look, they will not go to the computer, they will not go and look it up themselves. They're the laziest people in the world of voting.
Follow me and others on social media. More and more information is going to get out about the dark money in Florida with Anthony Pedicini and his cabal of dark money political fraudsters. Anthony Pedicini is a political consultant who I guarantee you will attack any America First candidate if there's money in it for him. And so I'm immediately just I'm just attacking him day one, right away. Let's fight. Let's get it out in the open right now, because I know where it's going to come from. It's going to come from him and again, this entire dark network of campaign finance, so you can't find out who. And Kevin Wright here, by the way, it was clear as day that Pedicini and his group of dark money fraudsters attacked him, saying that he wasn't a true conservative. And the name of the group was Manatee
Real Conservatives.
Real Conservatives. Yeah, Manatee Real Conservatives. So they create this group with money that comes from developers and other places. Dark money, it's really hard to find. I guess that's what I'm saying. It's really hard to find. And John Balance is helping me, and some other people are helping me to illustrate and to show people exactly what's happening. So that when a quote-unquote real Manatee County conservative comes up, you're like, who's behind that? Okay, that guy has the same address as Pedicini, has the same this. And Pedicini, by the way, started a group called Progressive Values, Committee for Progressive Values. So this is a guy who's a political consultant to conservatives. He's done so much damage in Hillsborough County. It's ridiculous. He's trying to do the same thing and turn Manatee counties upside down by creating division. And the Bible says that God hates a liar and those who sow discord. And that's exactly what he's doing. He's finding strategic fractures, and that discord was all directed right at this patriot right here. Yes?
By the way, I think that was one of the facts that came up in my search. I didn't know that.
Really?
I'll check again, but
yeah.
I think because I tried to sort them by values at the top, and
yeah,
that one was within that $10,000 range.
Yeah, and Simwins is the name of his group, but he's hiding stuff from all these other areas.
If you go on to Simwins, that's one of their values that they actually broadcast. They updated their website, and I thought they would take it off. But they're also known for running like a Tea Party candidate against another Republican candidate, so the Democrat will win.
Yeah.
That is their strategy. They would prefer having a
We dealt with Pedicini for 10 years when I was chair in Hillsborough for 3 terms, and we know the inside. She's got all the insight, so we're here to help you on that.
Excellent, thank you. And I'm trying to get as much awareness so that people like Kevin aren't attacked and vilified for just being an American First patriot. Yeah.
Since you said that you would like to do away with the Department of Administration and
correct.
The other guys, like all that money that they get, where would you that money for? Since they have a big pool, where would that money go after?
I would find out where Hillsborough took all of their money and put it there and hide it from everybody. No, it needs to go to pay down the debt, and we need to return to fiscal sanity.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and we need to stop taxing people and stop just printing money. And before 1913, well. Yeah.
I remember a little bit.
The fan.
Yeah. Any other questions?
What are your social media handles?
X. Can't say that, but
It's
Twitter.
terrible, and just don't make them change your language.
Yes,
Say,
thank you.
say Twitter.
Thank you. Twitter is at Eddie Speir, EDDIESPEIR, and I got business cards here, so they're on the business cards, and I'll hand those out. And if you guys want, we got bumper magnets, bumper sticker magnets for you guys. We got hats. I'm asking, there's no free lunches, so I'm asking for I think it's $25 for the hats and like $30 for the major magnets. So we got shirts.
Oh, I love it.
We've got some shirts.
Yes, I do. I want to have
And I don't have a ton of shirts with me, but you guys can pick through them. So I'll come back if Jeff will have me.
Please come back.
And I'd love to.
We'll have you back.
Yeah.
I'd love to give you guys a report on the border. Thank you guys.
All right.
Thanks, Paul.